career to think of. And Toby. The phone rang, its short double burr echoing loudly in the small room. He stepped back to his desk and fumbled for the receiver, bringing it to his ear. "Kincaid," he said shortly, then listened for a moment. "Right, thanks." Replacing the handset in the cradle, he looked at Gemma. "Car's waiting." Sentences formed and dissolved in his mind, each sounding more futile than the last. This was not the time or the place to discuss it, and he would only embarrass them both by going on about it now. Finally, he turned away and slipped into his jacket, using the moment to swallow his disappointment and compose his features in as neutral an expression as he could manage. Facing her again, he said, "Ready, Sergeant?" Big Ben struck 10 o'clock as the car sped south across Westminster Bridge, and in the back seat beside Gemma, Kincaid watched the lights shimmer on the Thames. They sat in silence as the car zigzagged on through South London, inching its way towards Surrey. Even their driver, a usually chatty PC called Williams, seemed to have caught their mood, remaining hunched in taciturn concentration over the wheel. Clapham had vanished behind them when Gemma spoke. "You'd better fill me in on this one, Gov." Kincaid saw the flash of Williams's eyes as he cast a surprised glance at them in the rearview mirror. Gemma should have been briefed, of course, and he roused himself to answer as ordinarily as possible. Gossip in the ranks would do neither of them any good. "Little village near Guildford. What's it called, Williams?" "Holmbury St. Mary, sir." "Right. Alastair Gilbert, the division commander at Nottingdale, found in his kitchen with his head bashed in." He heard Gemma draw a sharp breath. Then she said, with the first spark of interest he'd heard all evening, "Commander Gilbert? Jesus! Any leads?" "Not that I've been told, but it's early days yet," Kincaid said, turning to study her. She shook her head. "There will be an unholy stink over this one, then. And aren't we the lucky coppers having it land in our laps?" When Kincaid snorted in wry agreement, she glanced at him and added, "You must have known him." Shrugging, he said, "Didn't everyone?" He was unwilling to elaborate in front of Williams. Gemma settled back into her seat. After a moment, she said, "The local lads will have been there before us. Hope they haven't messed about with the body." Kincaid smiled in the dark. Gemma's possessiveness over bodies always amused him. From the beginning of a case, she considered the corpse her personal property, and she didn't take unnecessary interference kindly. Tonight, however, her prickliness brought him a sense of relief. It meant she had engaged herself in the case, and it allowed him to hope that their working relationship at least was not beyond salvage. "They've promised to leave it until we've had a chance to see things in situ." Gemma nodded in satisfaction. "Good. Do we know who found him?" "Wife and daughter." "Ugh." She wrinkled her nose. "Not at all nice." "At least they'll have a WPC to do the hand-holding," Kincaid said, making a half-hearted attempt to tease her. "Lets you off the hook." Gemma often complained that female officers were good for more than breaking bad news to victims' families and offering comforting shoulders. But when the task fell to her, she did it exceptionally well. "I should hope so," she answered and looked away, but not before he thought he saw her lips curve in a smile. A half-hour later, they left the A-road at Abinger Hammer, and after a few miles of twisting and turning down a narrow lane, they entered the sleepy village of Holmbury St. Mary. Williams pulled onto the verge and consulted a scribbled sheet of directions under the map light. "When the road curves left, we stay straight on, just to the right of the pub," he muttered as he put the car into gear again. "There," said Kincaid, wiping condensation from his window with the sleeve of his coat. "This must be it." Turning to look out her window, Gemma said, "Look, I've never seen that particular sign before." He heard the pleasure in her voice. Kincaid leaned across her just in time to catch a glimpse of a swinging pub sign showing two lovers silhouetted against a smiling moon. Then he felt Gemma's breath against his cheek and caught